Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing right now.
When I was in the 5th grade, Santa Claus, brought a Commodore 64 into our home. I believe it was on Christmas Eve, and we came home from a dinner with relatives to find it there. And when we turned it on, there was graphics and music. And the graphics were blocky, but man, it was beautiful. The music was computery, but man, was it beautiful. That was the 5th grade. And before then, my exposure to computers had primarily been either at my grandparents' house, where they had a Commodore VIC-20 plugged into a black and white television set, which I've talked about before on occasion, or at school. I went to a private school, a Catholic school, local to the Des Moines, Iowa area, St. Joseph's, and they had an Apple II in the hallway, and I got to play Oregon Trail on it. So I really wasn't exposed to computers all that young. I mean, 5th grade is pretty young, but I mean, considering how most infants today are exposed to computers and technology, I was relatively old by the time I was fully immersed into the world of personal computing. The reason why I'm bringing this up today is I got an email from Eric, and he writes, "Hey Chris, I heard your show about the OLPC program, and that's the one laptop per child, which we've done a video on. And I have what might be an interesting topic for you. At what age do you think you should get a kid their first computer? In my opinion, I think it depends on the child and their specific take on responsibilities, but I was wondering what you thought. I don't have kids yet, but I thought it would be a good topic." Indeed, it is a good topic. I am not a parent myself. I only have a couple of dogs, and we all know that Wicket likes surfing lassie sites when nobody's looking. But beyond that, in all seriousness, I think that at any age, a child, and I consider anybody who's under the age of 18 a child, should certainly be given tools so long as they know how to use those tools, can use them responsibly. And this is a responsibility of the supervisor or the guardian, the parent, the adult, to make sure that it's not just giving a child a computer, but also working with that child or working with that technology so that it's, not a bonding experience, so to speak, but so that the child knows the power of what they're using. And, there's some parents out there who, hand over technology to their children and, take a laissez-faire approach and say, hey, whatever you want to do with it, it's fine. The way I'm going to do it, and I'm only going to speak from, what I intend on doing, is not only empowering a child at the youngest possible age where the cognitive processes are strong enough, and that's probably not going to happen for a few years into childhood. Certainly when they're old enough to, form words and sentences and thoughts, computers are really structured on logic. And to teach a child logic at that young an age, I think is extremely awesome. That's going to serve them for the rest of their lives. And as soon as the child is old enough, psychologically speaking, to understand logic, I think that is right around the time that you're going to want to expose the child to, exploring the computer. And I'm sure video games are a great gateway for this, no doubt. But I do believe that doesn't come without, continued guidance and support. And not tech support, so to speak, but really saying, look, here's Google, and yes, you can look for anything, but let's do something with this. Let's find out if we can learn more about X, Y, or Z, or let's go to YouTube and find videos about this and explore that. And you show these tools and you explain these tools so that, they're going to understand where each of these tools fit in and how they work together. And video games, again, are a great way of helping the child explore an affinity for technology. But my hope is that, no matter the age, gaming will be one of those things that will be supportive of their efforts, not necessarily the thing that sucks away all their extra time. It's one of the reasons why I don't spend a lot of time on gaming, not because I don't enjoy gaming, but because I feel like I would be wasting a lot of my time by spending a lot of time on something that really wasn't benefiting me directly. I have no problem with gamers. It's just really not my primary thing. I enjoy games, but on a casual level. Now, to teach game development, that's a completely different approach. But to do that, you have to understand logic. And to understand logic, you have to have a good foundation. So it's difficult to say when the right time is. I don't know if there's necessarily a wrong time. I just think there's a wrong approach. I'm not a parent, so I'm not wagging my finger at anybody who takes a different approach than I would, but I'm just letting you know what I intend on doing. I think handing a tool to somebody and expecting them to figure it out on their own is it's illogical to me. Maybe I'm too logical. But anyway, I'd just be curious to know what you guys thought. How young is too young? If you are someone who's under the age of 18, and believe, I know there are plenty of you out there. I'm sure that's like 99% of my audience. When did you first get exposed to computers and technology? And, you may be a big-time gamer, but do you do things beyond gaming and listening to music and doing things that kids normally do? I mean, that's just being a kid, having fun, right? You don't have a lot of the responsibilities that some of us have. Whew. You know what? There's going to be a time, you're thinking I'm crazy, but you're going to agree with me sooner or later, I'm sure. Oh, Snake Eyes is 19, so he's no longer a kid. Well, you can't really buy alcohol in this country, but not to say that alcohol and computing mix. Sorry, I'm sending the wrong message if you're under 18. I'm not... Anyway, whatever you think, go ahead and leave a comment or remark, or email me, chris@pirillo.com. I'd be interested in learning about your background and stories, and maybe if it's interesting enough, possibly sharing it with the rest of the world. If you're a parent who's gone through this, how do you approach technology in your house? And in terms of education or just really gaming, I know it's a killer app. Gaming, can't avoid it. And of course, you're also welcome to swing by our chat room. And we're mostly adults here. We try to act like adults from time to time, but we typically talk tech, and technology seems to transcend age at any level. Certainly, I've known young and old who enjoy not just playing with the stuff, but sharing their experiences with everybody else. And that's really one of the reasons why we've set up the chat room, and we have it open all the time. And then sometimes during the day, we record these videos and upload them and throw them out onto the internet. So anyway, the chat room, in case you hadn't figured it out by now, is located right there underneath the rotating logos. You figured it out, right? You got that part? You have enough? Okay, fine, I'll say it. live.pirillo.com. We'll see you later.